Hello, Star Wars fans and collectors. It's me, Jedi Master 98, back again with another Star Wars live stream. In tonight's live stream, we'll be going over the events of The Mandalorian Season 1. The guest that is appearing in this stream is Alan, who's been on regular streams before. Hi,
How
Alan,
y'all
you all
doing?
right? I'm doing well, thanks, mate. You doing all right?
Yeah, doing okay, yeah.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. He was going to have Lewis join us, but unfortunately, he can't make it due to having a busy schedule this week. But nevertheless, Alan is here. He's a Star Wars fan like myself, and we've got good chemistry and we bounce off each other well with Star Wars ideas. So, yeah, as the
Yeah.
title suggests, it's the Conversations live stream, episode 17, The Mandalorian Season 1. We'll be going over the 8 episodes of The Mandalorian TV show, Disney Plus's first live action Star Wars TV show. And what we do is we just briefly go over the episodes, talk about it, and then just talk about it in detail, and also be taking your questions on anything Mandalorian or Star Wars related, really. Before we start, first impressions of the Mandalorian. Alan, what did you think of Disney's first ever live action Star Wars TV show?
I mean, wow. I mean, I didn't when I first saw the trailers, I was intrigued. I didn't know what to expect, but I had a feeling that it was going to be dark, that it was going to be different from what we're used to. And like now that we have the first season out, it's just a beautiful series, really. It's got really beautiful visuals and compelling story arcs when it comes to like the characters, and just the special effects too, and the music is pretty iconic. And some of the acting is a bit not. I mean, I'm kind of some of the acting is really it's a bit like overacted. I feel like, but overall, really great show. And like right now, like these past few weeks, the gallery, the behind the scenes documentary episodes have been coming out, and like I've been watching those, seeing how everything came together behind the scenes, and it's just so fascinating and really amazing to see how these people work together, and like what they had in mind, and like what they know, and see how it all really happens, the magic of it. Yeah, I just really I love it a lot, and I look forward to season 2 later this year. How about yourself?
Just same thing, really. I was excited and obviously curious to see what Disney would do from this first ever live action Star Wars TV show. The good thing about this TV show, especially, is you've got Star Wars people on it who really care. So obviously you've got Dave Filoni, who's been working on it with Jon Favreau, who's also the writer and one of the producers, who is a massive Star Wars fan. So they bounce off each other really well. There's obviously other directors as well who obviously were influenced and grew up with Star Wars as well, which makes a huge aspect of obviously their role of directing certain scenes and bringing in old characters and new characters that we know in the past, and obviously get to know from this new TV show.
Deborah Chow, Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard, and and Deborah Chow. But it's very organised. Like when I watch an episode week by week, when it did first release back in November of 2019, you can just feel the sense of the episode that it's done well done. It's not rushed. It's just taken from a certain point of view where they start with A, and then when it gets better, it goes to B, C, D. It's like with any film or TV show. It's just got certain plots, middle, beginning, end. And what I've seen from every episode is it's well done. As you said, there's some of the acting could be a little bit better, but obviously they've got people in the business who can improve that and everything. And obviously with all these latest rumours coming out of season 2 of Boba Fett supposedly returning, or a certain character being played, or stuff happening. Really, a lot of news recently on the Mandalorian, but it is hit the ground running. Like a lot of friends of mine who are not really into Star Wars and are into Star Wars have obviously watched it and they've been blown away by it. Obviously, there's a few Easter eggs as well from the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, but I think just having people like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau working on it, the Star Wars mad, they know what they're doing. And at the end of the day, if you want knowledge of certain bits in Star Wars, then obviously Dave Filoni's your man. And obviously Jon Favreau, with his experience of directing, he can guide new directors who haven't been in the hot seat before to do even better. And yeah, the storyline, the cast, the crew, and the whole new era of Star Wars that the Mandalorian has brought to the big screens is just, it's really cool. It's just like Clint Eastwood's version of science fiction. That's who he just reminds me of. The Mandalorian just reminds me of an old Clint Eastwood character that he's played in many westerns that he starred in over the years. But overall, it's just a well thought out TV show with a lot of care, and here's the many more years of it, really. So that's all I've really got to say for it. It's nothing good stuff. You just sit there and watch it, and it's just great. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it, really.
Yeah, I just had a chat with my dad a few minutes ago. With my dad, he and like we talked, yeah, he told me, you know where the concept of like bounty hunting comes from, right? And I was like, yeah, it's from like the far west back in the day. And yeah, it's really that whenever you were found suspect, or if you were arrested for a crime, and so right before you went on trial, you were put under custody, and if you had if you had the means to do so, you could pay out your bail, so you can basically stay. I mean, go out of custody until your trial is due, and some people would just vanish, would just disappear, and so then that's where the bounty hunters come to play, and they would just hunt down those suspects, or those suspects, and when they bring them to when they bring them to their client, then they would be paid. And sometimes sometimes I guess the job was to bring them alive, and sometimes the job would be to either kill them or like bring them either alive or dead, like, and yeah, so that's really where it came from.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just got that feel for a western. Like when you look at the genre of it, when you search it up on Google, it's like sci-fi western. It is just like a western. Obviously, it's different eras, because obviously westerns were obviously cowboy eras, and technology wasn't great as it is obviously in the Star Wars universe. But it's just got that feel to it, like as I said earlier, like a proper sort of Clint Eastwood, John Wayne sort of film. You just think, they're going to appear, but no, it's really, really cool. And who else doesn't like cowboys? Cowboys are so cool. So cool,
Yeah.
so cool. So that's just been our little segment on the Mandalorian. I'm going to just briefly do an introduction about it, and then we get into the episodes and talk about them one by one. So I'll just start off with something I picked up on the internet. Sorry. The Mandalorian, also known as Star Wars: The Mandalorian, is an American space western web television series created by Jon Favreau and released on Disney Plus. It is the first live-action series in the Star Wars franchise, set 5 years after the events of Return of Jedi and 25 years prior to the events of The Force Awakens. It follows the title character, the Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin, and his exploits beyond their reaches of the New Republic. Favreau also serves as head writer and showrunner, as well as executive producer, alongside Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, and Colin Wilson. The Mandalorian premiered with the launch of Disney Plus on November 12th, 2019, with its 8-episode first season. The series has received positive reviews. That was just the introduction of the Mandalorian TV show. And next up, we're just going to get into the nitty-gritty part and the main aspects of the episodes. So episode 1 is chapter 1, The Mandalorian. 5 years after the fall of the Galactic Empire, a Mandalorian bounty hunter hands his latest bounty to Grief Karga. Then he accepts an under-the-table commission on the outpost world of Navarro from a client with apparent Imperial connections, directing him to track down and capture an unnamed 50-year-old target. While the client is indifferent to the target's well-being, his colleague Dr. Pershing insists the target be brought back alive. The Mandalorian is given down payment of a single bar of Beskar steel, sacred to his people. He takes it to a covert Mandalorian enclave where an armorer uses it to make him a pauldron. Arriving at the planet of the target last reported location, the Mandalorian is aided by a vapor farmer named Quill. Tired of the chaos that bounty hunters bring to the area, Quill leads him to the target's location and departs. Entering the remote and heavily defended encampment, the Mandalorian reluctantly teams up with bounty hunter droid IG-11, who's also voiced by one of the directors, Taki Wati, to clear the camp and find the quarry, a child of the Yoda species. When IG-11 attempts to kill the infant per its bounty orders, the Mandalorian shoots and destroys the droid, taking the child alive. So that's just the description for the episode. What did you think of the episode and first episode of the Mandalorian? I've got some other notes here as well, so if you do forget occasionally, I can read some of the episodes as well.
Right.
Scenes, sorry, I should say.
Yeah. So right off the bat, we get the Mandalorian's. We get his first appearance in the. And like he just the action, we're going straight to the action, like we see how badass he is, and it's like in your typical Western movie, like when the badass cowboy enters the bar and there's some thugs in it who kind of try and get a rise out of him.
There's always that shot. There's always that shot when the camera just looks and they do that stare, thinking, "Oh, who's that guy?"
Yeah, and yeah, it was cool. It was really cool to see him being so badass, and like it already like sets up the tone. Like that scene was pretty dark if you think about it, with how it ended.
Fighting in the bar.
Yeah, one of the guys he was fighting got cut in half by the bar door. It's kind of really shows you, that this is a dark show, and that it's definitely that you get definitely gonna see like more I guess brutal justice like that in the show. And yeah, it was just it was just pretty epic, that scene there. But then after that, I guess my least favorite bit about the episode was when they um, the part where they need a speeder, and to get them to the Razor Crest to get off the planet. That bit was a bit long, I feel like. But then like for a first episode, for an introduction episode for a series, I think it wasn't. I think it was definitely good, and it definitely got me hooked and hyped for the next episode. And I mean, yeah, there wasn't too much going on in it, but I mean, yeah, there was some action here and there that was pretty dope, especially when especially toward the end, where the Mandalorian and IG-11 were fighting those I guess those thugs that were surrounding the area where the child was kept, was, I guess, held in custody, or just I don't know
Held in
if it was,
custody.
yeah, I don't know if it was a hostage, or or being protected or whatnot, um but yeah, that scene was probably one of my favorites. And we get also an introduction to another brilliant character, that is Quill.
Voiced obviously by Nick Nolte.
Yeah,
As well.
yeah, who's already become like a fan favorite and an iconic character to the show, with the famous line, "I have spoken."
With nearly every sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, I really liked the first episode as well. Obviously, it was a good introduction to see what Mando's all about. Because obviously, they mentioned as well, you're a Mandalorian. We hear the stories of obviously them taking out their opponents with by no means justice, just getting on with the task and just taking people down with literally no hesitation, really. Yeah, the bar scene was great. Obviously, you think that the person Mando is helping, you think he's just an innocent person, like he's always helping me and everything. But obviously, we find out that he's the target, and obviously he tries to try and find his way out of Mando's ship, but obviously ends up in a wrong turn and then finds out, well, Mandalorian, if you're going to muck about on my ship, you're not gonna stay what's the word, alive for a long period. And obviously, when we saw on the ship, we saw many so-called, I would say, other bounties, and obviously in the
Right.
they were what were they doing again? They were all putting carbonite. Sorry, obviously like Han Solo in episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. And just from that sense of them opening minutes, you could just get a sense that whatever happens, the Mandalorian is here to do a job. He's here to get paid and just get on with the task, no questions asked. And obviously fighting in the desert as well, and obviously helping IG-88 with his cool action of this, obviously spinning waste and then just shooting here and there, and obviously him wanting to self-destruct and doesn't want to do it. And obviously we get a sense of why the Mandalorian hates droids, and obviously there's a few flashback scenes that we do see, and then obviously we see in the season finale on why he does dislike droids as well. But overall, it's just, like I said, it's just a simple introduction to a character, and also as well good to see a baby Yoda moment, which was for the first several months literally just brainstorming the internet with so many memes of him holding like a little cup and holding his hand out and just making a noise. He just became so massive just with his like first couple of appearances in the Mandalorian. It was just unreal how he just became this social icon that became so big, and he's just obviously a little Yoda who's 50 years old. And I think, how is that thing 50 when he should be about, I don't know, 2, 3? But obviously the age
When he
of
looks,
them
yeah, that's how he
creatures,
looks. Yeah.
that's how he looks. It's kind of like Chewbacca. You're 250 years old and you look great and everything. But
Yeah.
the Mandalorian first episode, it was good. It was a good start, and obviously, as you said earlier on, IG wanted to terminate him, but obviously Mando was having nothing of it, and obviously terminated him and rescued the child with the last shot of the episode of Mando putting his hand out, and obviously Baby Yoda's little fingers trying to reach out to him. But overall, it was good. It was good, and obviously in the Mandalorian cave as well, we could see another Mandalorian who was obviously crafting armor, and then later on in the episodes, we know there were a few more in the Creed. I'm just going to quickly read some of my notes out to just give you a brief idea on what we're talking about. Obviously, as mentioned as well, we see obviously the two guys looking for trouble, obviously over the bounty. Mando enters, obviously attacks them, and obviously kills one of them, which is obviously cut in half by the door. He collects the bounty. Speeder comes along with the droid and obviously attacks the this sort of big sea creature, attacks the speeder, and then Mando goes onto his ship. Mando eventually electrocutes the creature. Obviously, his bounty unlocks his weapons cabinet and tries to escape, and notices his carbon freezing victims. Once that's happened, Mando talks to obviously Grief Karga about a new job and everything face to face. We see Mando goes to the place to talk about the bounty, and obviously we see remnant stormtroopers and the man responsible for his new target, also known as the Client. He also offers him
the client.
Beskar armor, which is obviously quite a luxury for the Mandalorians as well. Obviously, he goes to the place where the Mandalorian armor is prepared and established, and we see all the tools and obviously them repairing. And as I said, we also see flashback of Mando's past. We also see Mando land on the distant world. Mando is attacked by this large creature and obviously meets Quill. And Mando also tries to ride the young foal, which is one of the creatures who attacks him. He succeeds, and obviously, as Alan said, he has spoken. And then towards the last episode, towards the last stages of the episode, we're introduced to obviously IG-11, an assassin droid. And obviously, with assassin droids, we know it from The Empire Strikes Back and the season 1 episodes of the Clone Wars TV show, where obviously R2 goes missing, and we see Ahsoka and Anakin looking on the ship, and obviously they're attacked by assassin droids. And obviously takes place and everything. He uses the big gun that's obviously raining heavy fire down on IG and Mando. As I said, they discover their target, and it's obviously the child, Baby Yoda, and he's 50 years old. And obviously IG-11 has been assigned to kill the target, but Mando won't allow it and eventually shoots him in the head. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the first episode of the Mandalorian. Anything else to say, Alan, before we move on? Or we pretty much covered what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, the client, who's brilliantly portrayed by Werner Herzog. I just love that character. I love that character's rich vocabulary and
yeah, bounty hunting is a complicated matter. Who says that tone of voice? Yeah,
yeah. From the tone and the sound of his voice to the lines that come out of his mouth. It is like one of my favorite characters of the show. It was I think he stole every scene he was in.
Because when the trailers come out, people were speculating who is he and everything. Obviously, we get to know eventually. If I remember, is he an ex-Imperial officer? If I can remember briefly.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, similar to obviously the character that we discover in the last 2 episodes, but we will go on to that shortly. Do you want to move on to the second episode, Alan?
Sure.
Moving on. Yeah, episode 2 or chapter 2, The Child. While returning to his ship with the child, the Mandalorian fights and kills a group of rival bounty hunters who ambush him. Nearing his ship, he finds it's being stripped by Jawas for parts, and he eventually confronts them. When he tries to attack their sandcrawler, the Jawas stun him and drop him into its roof. The following day, Quill helps him locate the Jawas and negotiates him for the return of his ship's components. The Mandalorian agrees to retrieve the egg of a rhinoceros-like mudhorn in exchange for the stolen parts. He enters the mudhorn's cave, only to be hurled out by an angry beast inside, which attacks him repeatedly, damaging his armor. As the mudhorn rushes in for the kill, the child uses a force to stop the beast, and it also surprises the Mandalorian, and he eventually stabs it and kills it. He collects the egg and takes it to the jars. You crack it open and eats its yellow insides. With the trade complete, the Mandalorian and Quill work together to repair the ship, allowing the Mandalorian to leave the planet with the child.
Right.
That's a description for episode 2. Alan, we'll start with you and then we'll go back to me. Episode 2, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like the episode. I like that episode and the interaction with the Jawas, especially. It was a lot of fun. Like from the chase on the sandcrawler to how they interacted face to face when they tried to negotiate to get back the parts for Mando's ship. It was a fun episode. Some people really they don't they take it for filler. They really see it as a filler episode, which is probably like right, but it still doesn't change the fact that it was overall a fun episode, and we get to see more of Quill, which is also great. We get to see more of the child, and we get the sense that we see that he is force sensitive, and that it's also something that my dad told me earlier, that for him the draw of the series is the child. To him it was the main draw of the series, because ever since we got introduced to Yoda back in Empire Strikes Back, like we did not know what was that species. There's no name for the species. We don't know where it comes from, what planet it comes from. Are they all force sensitive? To him it was the main draw was, will we get to see that character manifest their powers, and will we find out more about that species that we've grown to really like, that we've seen Yoda in, like, we've seen Yoda in his character, but it was always a mystery, and like now with the child we probably get more. We get an opportunity to explore further into the lore, I guess, and find out more about the species, and unravel the mystery of that of those characters' kind. But yeah, it is. I agree with him on the but I agree with him, but to me it's one of the main draws. It's not the only draw for me. I really, like, there's so much lore to explore, and so much universe world building in the Mandalorian. We get to like learn about how bounty hunting works, how the new, I guess, the newer ways of the Mandalorians, and yeah, we just get
It just gives you a sense of a whole new larger world. Like we know certain areas of Star Wars, but this is just something that we completely haven't seen before.
Exactly. We see a new aspect of Star Wars. We see the universe from a different point of view. A bit, I guess, more. We get to see this this anti-hero who is neither with the rebellion or with the Empire. So it's really, I guess, a gray area, like kind of in between, like a neutral character that is kind of the kind of character that was always really in the background, and now we really focus more on that kind of character.
And it also gives you a sense of obviously, as you said, it's kind of like a neutral side or background characters thinking what were they actually going through. Obviously, we know about what happened. Eventually, you know what happens to Mando's parents in episode 8, the season finale of the Mandalorian. But it's just him finding his way in the universe to try and make a difference by doing his job to the best of his ability, and also, in this case, trying not to think about others. But he can't help himself from the first episode, where obviously this young child in Baby Yoda is obviously, you only see him for like a brief moment in the first episode. Obviously, we see him in the other episodes, but it's just that brief moment. It just means so much to him. Thinking, we see it obviously in one of the episodes when he hands him over. He kind of has a conscience, where you think, well, bounty hunters wouldn't have a conscience. They want to get their job done, get paid up front, and then be on their way and do nothing. Where we see throughout these next couple of episodes, we see Mando eventually probably thinking that he was this person as a young boy, but as he's gotten older and the job he's doing, he has changed a bit. But I think with Baby Yoda being introduced, it's kind of brought him a little bit more of a spark and a remembrance to think, well, even though I am doing this job, whether it's right or wrong, that I'm bringing him in for good or bad, I've got this conscience for this young child. And obviously, as we see in the episode, we see him get attached to it like it is his own, even though it's obviously a completely different species. But as you said earlier on, it's a whole new era of Star Wars with familiar faces and new characters coming in. But I say time and time again, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, the way they've introduced it, with only, say, a couple of episodes, it's already literally just engulfed us, and it's in the Star Wars episodes that we love, and in the Star Wars fan base where it's only been a few episodes in, and we want to embrace it with the likes of, I don't know, costumes, weapons, action figures. It just embraced many people so quickly, and is accepted in this large Star Wars community that seems to get bigger and bigger by the day, with fans all over the world engulfing, coming together for the sheer love of Star Wars. And that's what makes it a successful franchise. Little things when it comes out, it just brings people together and engulfs the whole thing, which is the best thing about Star Wars, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But going to that episode, there were a few aspects as well. We obviously see Mando's literally fighting stuff. He's willing to fight anything. This big mudhorn creature, big rhinoceros creature, just to get his ship parts back, do the right thing, and obviously try to stop the Jawas from wrecking ship any further. And as you said, we see Baby Yoda use the Force, which is obviously, you could say, a massive shock to people who would expect a young 50-year-old baby to use the Force at his age. And
we see, I think, something that we've never seen before in Star Wars, that when the child uses the Force, It makes him weaker.
Yes, it makes him weaker. He's just like shaking because obviously, I presume because he's so young, or maybe it's due to the first time he's doing it. Maybe it's
Maybe, yeah.
maybe it's like when you do something for the first time, you're not actually quite there, but in due time you could get better and learn how to control it. Whereas
Yeah.
in Baby Yoda's case, you gave it everything you got, saved Mando, but obviously went to sleep like an actual baby. So yeah, it's just funny. There's a few things that made me laugh when we see Quill's obviously talking Jawa, and then obviously Mando has a go, and he's saying, "Oh, the Jawa mentions to him, you talk like a Wookiee," and then he gets pissed off and he just fires his flamethrower, and they all start screaming, just like they did in obviously episode 4 and everything. But when I saw them screaming and doing their own thing, it always reminds me of the quote from episode 4 when C-3PO mentions, if I can remember the quote, he says, "I can't abide those Jawas, disgusting creatures," and you see Luke just whacking one over, get out, get out. They're just annoying creatures, but you seem to like them as well. Like you see him obviously.
They're funny. They're goofy. They're funny.
So
yeah.
they're just funny actors, and it's good to see as well another aspect of the original trilogy in bringing in the Sandcrawler and Jawas. But obviously these Jawas were the same Jawas, but obviously off-world Jawas, so they're not solely on Tatooine. They're on their travels really, which is yet again another bit of good thinking from obviously the producers, and as I said, bringing old Star Wars into new Star Wars, and it's still accepted really.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly go over a few notes from the episodes too. So if you've missed anything out, I can let you guys know where we are. Obviously, as I said, Mando encounters creatures who intend to harm him, which obviously the Jawas, and he shoots one of the Jawas and incinerates him, which is a new thing that we saw with Mando's rifle.
Right.
We also see that Mando is cleaning his wound, and the child gets out of his cot and tries to obviously heal him. Obviously, Mando puts him back in his little baby crib. Mando obviously finds out off-world Jawas of obviously taking his ship apart, and obviously starts to shoot them. As I mentioned, the quote from episode 4, A New Hope. We obviously see Mando jump on the Sandcrawler, chucking parts at Mando, and then he obviously chucks one of the Jawas out the transport, and obviously gets an electric shock. And then after that, we see Mando return to Quill. We see Baby Yoda find a little frog and decides to eat it, and obviously Mando tells him to spit him out. And as he said, they want obviously from the description as well. Quill talks to Mando about the jars. Obviously, they want to make a trade, parts for the egg and everything. Obviously, fights the large creature. Baby Yoda uses the Force and obviously kills the creature with the help of Baby Yoda. He recovers the eggs. The Jars are pleased. They're very pleased with eating their egg. And as also mentioned, Mando and Quill work together on putting the parts back together. And eventually Mando is on his way with his ship. So that's just a little bit more detail for every episode there that we talk about.
Yeah.
You're going to say something, Cam, sorry.
Yeah, I just I noticed something funny on the poster that I have in the back here. It's a Star Wars poster with like that. It's kind of a retrospective poster of the main 6 movies, and there's on the part right there in the right there toward the end of like the saga. There's Boba Fett, and on like and by his side there's Master Yoda, and that reminded me of that reminded me of the Mandalorian and the child. So I was so in my head I'm like, wait, what if they looked at that poster and they were like, you know what, we need that. It would be interesting to see a Mandalorian hang out with someone from Yoda's species. Yeah, I don't know.
Your wishes come true, Alan. Don't worry, your wishes come true. They've made the series,
right? Yeah.
But no, it's clever thinking on obviously the writer's part and everything to bring back obviously an iconic character in Yoda, and obviously with Boba Fett's and Jango Fett's armor. Obviously, Jango Fett's armor is Mandalorian. Obviously, Boba Fett's is well, not officially Mandalorian armor. Before we move on, is there any comments? No, there's no comments at the minute.
No comments.
We'll move on to episode 3, chapter 3, the Sim. The Mandalorian delivers the child to the client on Navarro and collects the bounty of 20 bars of Beskar steel. The Mandalorian asked about the client's plans for the child, but is told that it's none of his concern. He leaves before conflict arises. Returning to the Mandalorian enclave, the Mandalorian has his damaged armor replaced and weapons upgraded by the armorer, who forgets a full surplus from most of the Beskar steel, while the remainder goes to support Mandalorian founding children. The Mandalorian accepts a new job from Grief Cargo and prepares his ship to depart. Feeling guilty for abandoning the child to the Empire, he turns back to attack the client's base, killing most of the stormtroopers guarding it. He rescues the child from Dr. Pershing's laboratory, where it's being experimented on, but chooses not to kill the doctor. On the way back to his ship, the Mandalorian is ambushed by other bounty hunters and Grief Cargo, who demand that he hand over the child. He refuses, and a firefight breaks out. Outnumbered and concerned, the Mandalorian is able to escape only with the help of other Mandalorians arrive from the enclave, attacking the bounty hunters and allowing him to reach his ship with the child. So, Adam, episode 3 of The Mandalorian, what did you think? And what did you think of other Mandalorians appearing in the show?
Such a large bounty for such a small package. How uncharacteristic of someone of your reputation.
Bounty hunting is a complicated matter. What did you think, mate? What did you think?
Seeing the client again was awesome. That episode as a whole, like especially toward the end, it felt a lot like watching a John Wick movie with all the action, like because what he did, the Mandalorian, he broke the code of the guild, and then all the bounty hunters from the guild in that area were given a signal to go after him, kind of like in John Wick 2 at the end of John Wick 2 when John Wick was put in what's the term that was something.
I wouldn't know because I haven't seen the second John Wick.
Yeah, but basically they exiled him from the I guess the crime guild or the or the like the mafia he was part of. Uncommunicado, I think that was excommunicado. That's the term. Yeah, they put him on excommunicado, which is basically like you're no longer part of our guild, and you broke the code and you need to now you need to die. Everyone's gonna hunt you. So I guess spoilers for John Wick 2. I'm sorry, Jack.
No, don't bother me. Don't bother me. If I watch the film, you're gonna watch it anyway, so don't bother.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what it reminded me of when that happened in The Mandalorian, and I thought it was brilliantly executed, and we get to see a bit more of the ways of the Mandalorians and like what it really what it came to.
This is the way.
Yeah, this is the way we get the iconic line. Another iconic line. This is the way. Yeah, and
you have spoken.
I have spoken. Yeah,
you have spoken.
Yeah. We get to see that ever since. So because last time we saw Mandalorians, chronologically speaking, was in Star Wars Rebels, and they were about to like retake their territory on Mandalore and whatnot.
As you see in Clone Wars, it's obviously completely different. They want to take control of Bo-Katan's reign.
Yeah, Bo-Katan has been voted, I guess, leader of the Mandalorians. She was given the Darksaber in Rebels,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're jumping to years later in the events of the Mandalorian. We hear of a great purge, of a great Mandalorian purge. And like now they're in hiding in the sewers. They don't take off their helmets in public, and they go to the surface. So like they take turns to go out to the surface, and they really like they're being more discreet. And if you if you, you if a living no living thing, no living person can see you without your helmet on. And if you remove your helmet in public, or if an enemy removes it from you, you can't ever put it back on, and like you're done as a Mandalorian. You're no longer a Mandalorian. So yeah, it's interesting to see how their ways have changed from the last time we saw them chronologically, because we've seen Mandalorians without their helmets on 100 times throughout the timeline, the Star Wars timeline. We've seen, I mean, Jango Fett was technically a Mandalorian, like in religion, when because he wore the armor, he had Mandalorian gear on him, and we saw him without his helmet on. And throughout the Clone Wars, we see the Death Watch people and Clan Vizsla. Yeah. We've seen them plenty without their helmets on.
And then in Rebels, we see him with like Garth Saxon and all that. And obviously the last season of Clone Wars as well, when they're fighting obviously on the siege of Mandalore as well.
Yeah, and now there's this new order. There's this new code, or maybe it was always the code, and like they just they just decided to like really go old school and renew the old ways and we don't. I don't know. I don't know if you know, but like, it's interesting. Like, what made them either create this new code or go back to more primitive, to a more primitive code. Yeah, like what happened? I get it, because we just know that the purge is what caused that.
Well, we may get clarification in season 2 of The Mandalorian, or if there's ever behind the scenes thing that is showing up. We will probably hear clarification on why that aspect has been put into play for the
because we always hear about a great purge, a great Mandalorian purge, and people say, the Mandalorians are great warriors, but they're dead now, so they are so rare.
But there's that scene in the first episode of Star Wars Rebels season 4 where we do see someone get killed by this weapon that obviously Satine was part of when she was in the Imperial Academy and everything. So whether they're talking to that particular purge or other aspects of the purge during the Galactic Civil War or just before it ended, who knows? But hopefully in due course we will get clarification of it, and obviously Star Wars is pretty good in clarifying stuff when certain things has happened with. We'll probably just have to be patient and go from there, really. But as you said, they're known as these great warriors and everything, which they are, especially with Mando. The way he manages to maneuver himself out of tricky and sticky situations is unbearable for his opponents, because obviously I think he's got Mandalorian armor. He won't move that quick, but boy, he can move quick.
Yeah, there's some comments in the chat if you want to read them.
Yeah, go ahead. You can read them out. I don't mind.
Yeah, so
Who's
there's just a couple people in the chat saying hello. There's so that we have Spidey and we have Spade Plays, who's a close
Hello.
friend, a close friend from Discord who tuned into the stream. What's up, Spade?
Oh,
So
hello there.
yeah, he just said my name. Yeah.
Oh.
What's up, Spade? Great to have you. Great to have you in the chat here, tuning in.
Yeah,
Thank
if
you.
you've got any burning styles questions or anything about the Mandalorian, please don't hesitate to ask me or Alan, and we'll answer them as best we can, really.
Yeah.
But going back to the episode, obviously, we see the Mandalorians in action. We're introduced to a couple of them. One of them is the heavy Mandalorian, and I'm not too sure if I'm right in saying this, but is he played by Jon Favreau? I believe he's.
He is voiced. Yeah, he is voiced by Jon Favreau. Yeah.
He's voiced by him. Okay, all right.
Mm.
You just recognise that voice. Obviously, Jon Favreau. He also voiced Pre Vizsla,
Yeah.
who was obviously in the Clone Wars TV show, and obviously he also voiced Rio, who was in Solo, a Star Wars story as well. But that episode was very cool. It was good to see the Mandalorians obviously fighting together as one that we saw in Rebels and Clone Wars. And as I said earlier on in the previous episode that we just discussed, Mandalorian has basically been grown a conscience. He's thinking, right, I'm not going to stand for whatever these Imperials do to this child. I'm going to do everything in my power to rescue him. And obviously, we see it happen. And there's some pretty cool scenes when obviously he incinerates the stormtrooper, does a few maneuvers, shoots them, and everything. It's just kind of like get the words out, the tough guy in the bar. As I said, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, anything that is an issue to him, he will take no for an answer and just get the job done. No questions asked, really. But the third episode was good, and obviously we get to see that obviously the Creed is not willing to back Mando's movement, and obviously they get something that comes to them that they didn't really expect, and basically on their toes, really. So the third episode was fine. Obviously, as you said, Alan, the client and all that lot, and just basically Mandalorian getting his job done as best he can, really. Anything else to say about the third episode, Alan?
I think it was. I think it was great. Yeah, it was overall a great episode and brilliantly directed by, I believe, Deborah Chow.
Deborah Chow, yep.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the fourth episode, mate? While we're here.
Sure.
Episode 4, Chapter 4, Sanctuary. Arriving on the populated forest planet Sorgan, the Mandalorian encounters ex-rebel shock trooper turned mercenary Cara Dune. Following a short brawl, Dune explains that she is hiding after taking early retirement and asks the Mandalorian to leave. While he prepares his ship, two desperate fishermen approach him, offering to hire him to drive off a band of Platoon raiders. He accepts the job in exchange for lodging using their credits to enlist June's help. At the village, they are housed by Omira, a widowed mother. The Mandalorian confides in her that no one has seen him without his helmet off since childhood, when his tribe took him in as an orphan. Despite discovering that the raiders have an old Imperial AT-ST, the villagers refuse to leave, so the Mandalorian and June train them to defend themselves. They provoke the riders at night, with June luring the AT-ST into a trap for the Mandalorian to blow it up and forcing the remaining raiders to flee. With peace restored, the Mandalorian plans to leave the child in the village, but a guild bounty hunter tracks it down and is killed by Cara Dune. Realizing that neither the village nor the child will be safe, the Mandalorian departs with the child. So that is episode 4, Sanctuary. Same again, Alan. Thoughts on episode 4?
Episode 4 reminded me a lot of that one episode of the Clone Wars with I think the title of it was Bounty Hunters.
Yes, I was going to say something about it with the bounty hunters helping the people in Felucia with
Yeah,
obviously Embo and all that lot against Hondo.
yeah. That's what it reminded me of, and the Raiders themselves in that episode. First of all, that the appearance is unlike their appearance is unlike anything we've seen before in Star Wars. They had those kind of hyena physique to them to their faces. They really looked like hyenas, like dogs. Um, and the vibe they gave when they were present on screen, like in their first appearance, it really reminded me of the orcs from the Lord of the Rings, like from the way from the way they make their presence known, I guess, like the way they scream to the music accompany them.
You
That
just
plays
got that.
background.
You've just got that sort of sense of fear and danger when they just come out in the mist, and then there's just a
Yeah,
few of them, and then obviously
yeah.
they're bombarded by many more figures out of the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse
So
me.
that's what it reminded me of, the orcs from Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Anything to say on the episodes? Cara Dune, we're introduced to a new
Cara Dune
Star
is
Wars
awesome.
character.
Yeah. Cara
Obviously, we
Dune is
find
awesome.
out that she's an ex-rebel shock trooper turned mercenary as well.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that aspect of it, to see the new character on the big screen?
Yeah, I really like Cara Dune's character. She was badass in that episode, and later on in the season, in the later episodes, she was also pretty badass.
Yes, it's a good episode. It's just that typical Star Wars episode and typical Star Wars moment where, despite things not going to plan, despite only being a small number of rebels or villagers or whoever they're helping, they're willing to just set aside certain things that they've got planned and everything just to save a small tribe of people and just to get rid of rubbish and get rid of the mercenaries that try and terrorize people. That is just not acceptable in their sort of culture or their mandate. Really, they're willing to obviously get the job done, free
Mm-hmm.
people, and just make things a safer place for you. And obviously, as I said as well in the last few episodes, it just basically just gives Mando a conscience, saying,
Mm-hmm.
right, even though I've done things and everything, let's just take another step away from the bounty hunter side of it and just help people who are either in a vulnerable position or in a sort of stable position where they can fight, but just give them that extra bit of leg room, give them extra bit of confidence to say, right, despite there's only been a few of us, let's go out there and show them that we're going to give them a fight and we're not going to stand down lightly, really. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a typical Star Wars spirit in films, TV shows, where with things going right or wrong, they're willing to get forward and show what they're really made of, really. But Cara Dune, very interesting character as well. Obviously, the fight scene with her and Mando is pretty cool. And if I remember, we just see Baby Yoda sipping his little glass, like sort of a mother would, or somebody. I don't know if you've seen all the memes, Alan, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It's just like when someone looks at you, it's just got Baby Yoda just sipping his drink and going.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
typical. Kind of like when siblings fight, it's like just sipping his drink, going, well, it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
Loads of memes of obviously Baby Yoda and obviously an ATST as well, obviously a Star Wars vehicle as well. It looks even menacing coming out the fog with the sort of the red eyes and obviously the cockpit that we see of the Raiders inside and everything. But yeah, they were willing to make a stand. Obviously, we eventually see Mando and Cara Dune working together, and eventually the villagers stop their village from being attacked and live to fight another day. Really, so an interesting episode and a good introduction, as Anna mentioned, to the character Cara Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll just briefly go over some bits in case we missed everything. Obviously, I mentioned as well the village is attacked by the thieves. Obviously, Baby Yoda is also playing with part of Mando's ship as well, like a little ball thing that he finds interesting. And as I said, Cara and Mando are fighting. Obviously, Baby Yoda's drinking his soup. Obviously, Mando and Cara travel to the village. Mando and Cara obviously help the villagers in combat, and they eventually fight the bandits and everything, and manage to hold off the ATSD Walker. Obviously, Cara kills the bounty hunter who's tracking Baby Yoda, and eventually they leave, knowing that the village is in safe hands and everything. So that's just an extra few bits in case we missed anything. But episode 4, a good episode, a good introduction of Cara Dune, and a different side to Mando. Would you say? Different side to him. Before we move on to the next episode, I'm just going to quickly go to the toilet. I won't be a few moments, and yeah, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Right. So, to any of y'all watching, if you have any comments, what do you guys think of the first season of Mandalorian? Did you get any of the action figures, the Lego sets, any kind of merchandise? Tell us all about it, guys. Would be interested to read what you guys got to say about this show. I myself, unfortunately, I didn't get to get any of the merchandise because the Lego set, the first Lego set that came out for the Mandalorian, the ATST, from the episode that we just talked about, I felt like it was overpriced. And I guess, yeah, I always kind of pushed it. Kept pushing it and try to see if it will ever be cheaper. And there's also the new Razor Crest. There's going to be the Razor Crest in Lego coming out in September, which I think it's a bit overpriced. But there's also action figures. There's also action figures that came out for the Mandalorian. We're going to talk about it a bit later. But so far, I have none of them. But we'll see later on if I get the opportunity to pick anything up. Spidey says hello again.
Hello, Spidey. Hello.
Yeah.
I haven't missed anything, have I?
Not much. No, I just talked about, like, I told the viewers what I asked them what they thought of the Mandalorian, and if they have any, if they've purchased any of the merchandise that, and like any Mandalorian related merchandise. And by the way, I just looked on your channel, and it seems that you have surpassed 700 subscribers. So congratulations are in order.
I have. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. 700 is just crazy. Never thought I'd get 100, let alone 700. But yeah, thank you to.
When did you reach
everyone.
600? How long did it take you to reach 700?
It's at least a few months, probably even longer than that. Really, I don't know exact count for it, but it's taken a while. But as I said, I'm not really fussed about subscribers. I just share my sheer joy and love for Star Wars, and see what it has with the Star Wars YouTube community online, really. And obviously, so far so good. It's been a good ride so far, so nothing else to complain, really. Before I forget, I must put my laptop charger in the laptop, so it won't be a tick.
Brilliant.
That's done. But yeah, to reach 700 subscribers, is great. And here's the plenty more. As I said, it's just a YouTube channel, just sharing my sheer love and enjoy for an amazing franchise that is Star Wars, really. So, yeah, again, thank you to all the support, and keep it going. Oh, there's another comment from Spidey. He mentions there is not many people watching. Well, not many people watching at the minute, but hopefully that will change later on. But just wait and see if they see the notification, really, and everything. But not to worry, you're here, we're here.
Yeah,
And
this stream is gonna be
yeah.
available for the public after it's off air, once it's off air, so you guys can tune in later on and yeah, watch it whenever suits you, and listen to it while doing other stuff, or just really, yeah, it's available. It will be available after after we're done streaming. So if you haven't watched it, if you missed out, there's plenty of there'll be plenty of opportunities to catch up.
Indeed, plenty of episode. Thank you for that, Alan. Next episode we're going to take a look at is episode 5, chapter 5, The Gunslinger. The Mandalorian defeats a pursuing bounty hunter in a dogfight. He lands his damaged ship at a nearby repair dock run by mechanic Pili Motto in Mos Eisley on Tatooine. He seeks work in a cantina to pay for his repairs, meeting aspiring bounty hunter Toro Kassan, who is tracking elite mercenary and assassin Fennec Shand. Kassan needs to catch Shand to join the guild, and the Mandalorian agrees to help when Kassan offers to let him keep the money. They capture Shand in the desert, but she destroys one of their speeder bikes, so the Mandalorian goes to get the dewback they passed for transportation. While Kassan watches Shand, she tells him that the Mandalorian betrayed the guild, making the bounty on him and the child worth more than hers. Shand offers to help Kassan capture the Mandalorian if she sets her free, but he shoots her instead and Shoots her instead and rides the remaining speeder bike to the repair dock. Taking Motto and the child hostage, the Mandalorian arrives, uses a flare to disorientate Kassan, and kills him. He takes Kassan's money to pay Motto for the repairs, thanking her before leaving Tatooine. Out in the desert, a mysterious figure approaches Shan's body. Who could that mysterious person be?
To me, it looked and sounded like the Mandalorian, but it could be someone else too.
Could be someone else. Could be, I don't know. Could be a certain character who was on Tatooine who got devoured by a certain Sarlacc pit. Who knows? But whether that will be told, that's another question for another time, really. But
yeah,
I don't know. Put a couple of guesses in the chat, and we'll discuss it further.
Because from the sound of the boots and the look from I guess the lower, from the lower body, like we only get to see his legs and a cape, and it really from the sound of the boots and the looks that from what we got to see, it just to me I thought maybe the Mandalorian made a stop in the middle of the desert to pick out the body of that assassin to maybe get the payment for that bounty, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It could have been Moff Gideon, obviously the character that we see later on in the season. Who knows? But wait and see and find out. Knowing Star Wars, they always do a few things there. Episode 5 of that, Adam. What did you think of that? Obviously, return to an iconic Star Wars planet in Tatooine. What did you think of that episode?
When it comes to story, I think it was Story wise, it was probably the weakest episode of the season. Um, the new characters that were introduced, I really didn't mind them much. Like the I guess the highlight of the episode was really that the 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 woman that was taking care of the ship and the child.
Mm.
But even then, like, I really didn't mind the new characters. They really some of the acting was a bit was like on the verge of, like, it just felt a bit not there for me. Like, it felt like I it just when you can tell that the person is acting and not to, like, I could just tell that they were acting and not, like, being their characters just from the way they were acting, and that's the case with probably a lot of, I mean, not a lot, but quite a bit of characters that were introduced in this show.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know if it's not necessarily their fault, but it is kind of partially, I feel like, their fault, because they probably they're not as familiar with the world they're taken in as
Mm.
they're not as familiar with that as the like the directors and the other people working on it. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're just working with what they got. And but yeah, again, those characters were not really, like, I really didn't care about what they had to do during the episode. And yeah, so story wise, it was probably the weakest of the season. As far as visuals go, I really liked the visuals, especially the one scene where they ride on the speeder
Mm.
bikes on the desert. um, and I also liked that one scene where, with the Tusken Raiders, where the Mandalorian communicates with them through sign language, and it's something that we've never seen before. So it's another. I guess it's
Mm.
another way, just a way to communicate with those sand people, other than either uh, being uh, attacked by them or attacking them, because we've seen them being they've seen them in the original trilogy. They were attacking Luke. We've seen them in the prequels, attacking some of the shooting on the uh, pod
Pod
racing
racers.
chase. Yeah, the pod racers,
And then
like that.
and obviously then being attacked by Anakin as well, after
Yeah,
the death of his mother in the Attack of the
yeah,
Clones.
yeah, the pod racing tournament, and then being slaughtered brutally by Anakin
Mm.
in Attack of the Clones. So yeah, so it's another way of interaction that we've never seen before.
Mm.
And I thought it was probably the best scene of the episode. Very
He's doing his
yeah,
hand movements like,
yeah, very very comic,
mm.
very funny.
Just like that. Oh yeah, they can go over the
Yeah,
land.
yeah. All they needed to do was give them their what's it called, binoculars.
Yeah, they just go.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my opinion on the episode. It was a decent episode. Obviously, not every episode is going to be up to many fans' standards. Every season and every film that's been made is always going to be, like, say, the weakest.
It wasn't
Well,
inherently.
not
It wasn't inherently bad. It wasn't inherently a bad
no,
episode,
but
but
it's
it
just
wasn't bad.
every franchise, every episode, every film just has that stage where that was a little bit weaker than the older one or the newer one. It's just in stages. It's natural. It's natural. But going back to what you said, characters were fine. The cinematography was good. There was obviously a big bit of humour there, obviously with the Tusken Raiders and everything, and obviously a little bit of action with Mando killing the young enthusiastic bounty hunter. Oh, excuse me, didn't read it all there. Excuse me, sorry. And yeah, it's just a decent episode, and a few old aspects of the old Star Wars trilogy, really. Just briefly go over it again. Obviously, Mando's in a dogfight, and obviously it takes place and he wins. He heads to the planet, and obviously we know it's Tatooine, more precisely Spaceport from A New Hope. Also, we see Imperial helmets that was obviously stuck on spikes, so you know that the locals are not too keen on them. And obviously, we meet the character Tor Callahan. Obviously, they travel across the desert to locate the target, and obviously come across Tusken Raiders. They're pinned down by the sniper, and obviously they try to distract the sniper by riding the speeder straight at the target and using flares to stop the target using its thermal vision. Obviously, they capture the target, and obviously Tor, the young, enthusiastic bounty hunter, shoots the target and rides back to the spaceport. He takes the lady and baby Yoda hostage, and Mando obviously shoots him. He pays the lady for his troubles and leaves Tatooine. And as I said, we see another person walk over to the dead target to discover what's been going on. As I said, who could it be, really? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything to add on that episode, Em, or should we move on to episode 6, The Prisoner?
I can bring you in warm. I can bring you in cold.
Your choice. Another good line. I have spoken.
Yeah.
I have spoken. Okay, we'll move on to episode 6 now, chapter 6, The Prisoner. One of my favourite episodes from the series so far. There's another episode as well that I like as well, but we'll get back to that towards the.
By the way,
episode.
before you start, I apologize if you're hearing any background noises from my end. My folks are having a loud chat in the hallway.
Okay.
Up there. So I don't know if you're able to hear that, but I apologize.
I heard a little bit of it, but it doesn't put us off. It doesn't put me off.
Okay, if you want, I can tell him off.
No, it's fine. As long as you're not distracted. Like I said, I can just hear little bits of segments, but it's nothing distracting.
Okay.
We can just get our point across.
All right.
What we're talking about. So yeah, next up is chapter 6 or episode 6, The Prisoner. The Mandalorian contacts his former partner, Ran Malk, for work. Ran welcomes him to his space station and informs the Mandalorian that he needs his ship for a 5-man job. He is joined by ex-Imperial sharpshooter Mayfield, Daveron, strongman, Burge, droid pilot Q90, and Twi'lek knife expert Zion, for a mission to rescue Zion's brother Quinn, a prisoner of the New Republic. After infiltrating the prison ship, they fight through security doors and make it to the control room, where the ship security chief triggers a security beacon before being killed by Zyxon. The crew rescues Quinn, but double-crosses the Mandalorian. He escapes and defeats each crew member and captures Quinn. Q90 finds the child after the archive transmission from Grief Cargo, but is shot by the Mandalorian before he can harm the child. The Mandalorian delivers Quinn to Ran and departs with his payment. Rand immediately moves to launch a fighter to kill the Mandalorian, but discovers a new Republic beacon had been placed on Quinn. Leading a trio of X-Wings to Rand's station, where they attack. In the final scene, Mayfield, Burge, and Zion are revealed to be locked in the cell on the prison transport, having been spared by the Mandalorian. Episode 6, Alan, of The Mandalorian. What did you think of that episode?
Overall, a fun episode. It's a prison break. It's got a bit of elements of horror thriller in it, with the lighting. Yeah,
Deception as well.
yeah. So there's those elements there. We get to see the Mandalorian in action a bit more. It's always always a win.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see new characters. One of them is portrayed by the same actor who voiced Savage Opress in the Clone Wars.
Yep, Clancy Brown, who's also voiced in Rick and Morty as well, and
Yeah, Clancy Brown. Yeah,
and other known franchises. Obviously, he voiced in Star Wars Rebels. Who did he voice in Star Wars Rebels? Oh, I nearly had his
yeah.
name then.
He voiced a character from that, the bearded guy.
Yeah, his name nearly came to me then. Is it Ryder?
I don't know, man. It's such a forgettable character.
I'll search it up. Please continue. I'll
Yeah,
search it up.
yeah, but yeah, we get that character that was pretty fun, and yeah, we get some familiar species, and
Yep, it's Ryder. I was right.
yeah,
Boom, spot on, Barrett. Star Wars knowledge
boom,
to the max.
boom, yeah. And there's also a cameo from Matt Lanter, the voice of Anakin in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. I've got all that on my notes, mate. You're saying my notes spot on. Well done, mate. You've done your homework.
Yeah, and there's also we see a glimpse of the new order in the galaxy, with the prison of the New Republic being mostly manned by New Republic droids, which is interesting, that they would choose to have droids man their I guess I don't know if they became like part of the military too, those droids, if they made droid soldiers, battle droids for the rebellion, for the New Republic.
It's funny enough you say that. The droids did remind me of droids from, I believe it's season 5 of the Clone Wars. You know, when Maul and Savage Press, they robbed that bank. They did remind me of them droids. Obviously, they were completely different design, but they did remind me of that scene in Clone Wars where Savage just destroys them and plays his part, and they obviously steal the treasure from that particular ship. But please continue. Please continue.
It was interesting to see the new kind of droid, and yeah, just another uncomfortable situation for the Mandalorian to get out of. And
like a pro, he does it anyway.
Yeah, and something that kind of annoyed me at the end of that episode is that it's revealed that those other characters are alive after all, and that he didn't kill them, which I guess like from on one end, like on one hand, it's consistent and cohesive with the Mandalorian's character, and like that he is an honorable man, an honorable man who would not like shed blood, I just like that. But I mean, then again, we have seen him kill people who kill people in the just brutally just for picking up on him at the bar in the pilot episode.
Mm.
But yeah, like to me, I would have it would have been way more badass if he had just killed them one by one, and lived up to that brutality that we first saw in episode 1. So I guess I was kind of disappointed to find out that these characters have survived, but it's not that big of a deal. I guess it promises like more stories with those characters. So maybe even a I don't even think or want a spin-off show with those characters, but who knows? But yeah, more at least maybe more. I guess. Yeah, more appearances from them in later seasons of the Mandalorian.
Mm.
Pretty fun episode.
Pretty fun episode, yeah. As I mentioned, it's one of my favourite episodes from the first season of the Mandalorian. Obviously, see the Mandalorian action like we do in most of the episodes that have been introduced to us, and obviously we see the crew that he used to work for and everything before deciding to go his separate ways. We see cool scenes where he's destroying these droids and destroys one of the droids when he's locked in the prison cell by obviously ripping its arm off and obviously using its key to escape and everything. So nothing doubts and nothing shades Mandalorian from the truth that he will get on with things despite things being tricky. It's just typical of his character. Despite tricky situations happening, you always got to feed in the back of your head that he's going to do a job. He's going to get out of it and do his own part to get his payback on the characters of the crew that he used to be upon and try to get his way and everything. But yeah, it's a cool episode. Obviously, as you mentioned, seeing Matt Lanter, the voice actor for Anakin in Clone Wars and Rebels. And yeah, it's a pretty cool episode. And obviously, we know what happens to Mando's old mate for betraying him. Whether Mando knew he was going to betray him, you kind of had that sense the way the episode was going ahead and everything. But he got his own back, and obviously we see X-wings intervene, and they eventually destroy that little space station. And yet again, Mando is on his way and lives to fight another day with his armor still intact, really. So yeah, very cool episode. Like I said, one of my favourite episodes from the first season of the Mandalorian. And other than that, it's well done, really. That's all I can really say, really. I'll just briefly go over the notes that I've got written on it. Obviously, he takes the new job. So they go to a Republic prison ship. Mando takes out the security droids on the way to the bridge. We see a Republic guard on the ship, and obviously Matt Lanter, the voice of Anakin in Clone Wars and Rebels. The Twi'lek kills him, and obviously before he dies, he sends a distress signal to the New Republic. Mando's pushing to the prison cell and takes out one of the security droids and uses his arm to unlock the cell door. Zero the droid discovers a child. Mando and Burge obviously start fighting. Mayfield and Quinn are looking for a way out. Mando destroys Zero and leaves him on his ship. And obviously Mando sends obviously the little homing beacon or tracker attached to Quinn. And the X-wings enter from hyperspace. And obviously, if you take a closer look at the X-wing pilots, there are 3 of them, and they are Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and Rick Famuyiwa. Obviously, the directors from The Mandalorian as well. So if you didn't know who they were, you do now. Yeah. I knew who they were anyway.
Yeah.
And obviously, the ship gets destroyed, and the gang are put in their prison cell, and the Mando goes to fight again on another day, really. So, as I said, fantastic episode. for the Mandalorian.
Seeing the X-wing pilots, that scene with them reminded me a lot of the of A New Hope, the trench run with the other X-wing pilots. That's what it reminded me of a lot. They really captured that feel with that scene. Really reminded me of like what Star Wars, like the really the I guess the foundations, the roots of Star Wars. That was fun.
But other than that, it was a good episode, and it was good to see a couple of directors on the screen as well as excellent pilots. Before we move on to Chapter 7, The Reckoning, are there any new comments in the chat?
Spidey's got to go. Wolf joined.
Hello there.
Says hello. He asks if we're live streaming from Discord, but I answered in the chat that we're live streaming with the website StreamYard. You can see the logo right here above, right there. So if you guys are looking for a good website to live stream off of for your YouTube channel and bring guests over, then StreamYard is a pretty good website for it.
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, it delivers every time as well. Moving on to the next episode, Chapter 7, The Reckoning. The Mandalorian receives a message from a Grief Karga, whose town on Navarro has been overrun by ex-Imperial troops, led by the Klein. Karga proposes that the Mandalorian use the child as a bait in order to kill the Klein and free the town. In return, Karga will square things with the Guild, which also allow the Mandalorian and the child to live in peace. Sensing a trap, the Mandalorian recruits Cara Dune and Quill to assist him. And Quill brings a rebuilt and reprogrammed IG-11 to protect the child. They meet Karga and his associates, but are attacked by Minox. Karga is injured, but the child uses the Force to heal his wound. In return, Karga kills his associate and confesses his original plan to shoot the Mandalorian and take the child to the Klein. Karga pretends that Junior has captured the Mandalorian while Quill returns the child to the ship. During the meeting of Moff Gideon's troops, open fire on the building and kill the Klein and his bodyguard, trapping the Mandalorian, Karga, and June inside. Gideon arrives demanding the child. In the desert, 2 scout troopers intercept the Mandalorian's communications and trap Quill, killing him and taking the child. Episode 7. What did we think, Alan? Tragic end for a cool character in Quill, which is a shame, really. What did you think?
It is a shame, yeah, that we lost such a brilliant character.
Yeah, I did like Quill.
This episode was really good. It felt like it felt like the Avengers assembling. Like all those characters that each had their kind of separate arc with the Mandalorian. All those characters coming together. So we got Quill, and IG-11 and Cara Dune.
Grace Karga and Mando.
Yeah, all coming together. That was, and then and of course the child. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch that. To watch kind of the beginning of the culmination of those events of the first season, I guess, and a lot of interesting stuff happened in the in the episode, we see the child tap into the dark side briefly for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Force
And I
choking.
believe as well. Oh yeah, force choking. Yep, go on. I was going to say another thing. Go on.
Yeah, force choking Cara Dune, and that was kind of funny, and creepy at the same time.
Mm.
And then we see them. God damn it! Then we see in the nighttime when they're camping, those big flying
Minox.
creatures. Yeah, Minox.
I think we see them in
those are
Empire
Minox.
Strikes Back. Yeah, that's what it says there. Where are we? Minox. I believe we see them in the Empire Strikes Back. Do you know when they're in the
so those are
Millennium Falcon?
Those are way bigger Minox than we've seen in Empire Strikes Back.
They're probably the ones that were attacking their ship were probably like say child or something, but maybe that's the
we see those Minox attack our characters there.
Mm.
And
all the tribe eventually healed Greef Karga, but I believe when that episode was released, it was released I think a day before the Rise of Skull was released, because obviously if you watch the Rise of Skull, we see Rey healing Kylo Ren from a wound that obviously he sustained when obviously Leia sacrificed herself, and obviously they both sensed in the Force what happened. So it was good to see an early taste of what was happening. Obviously, when we went to see the Rise of Skywalker, we saw what was happening, but obviously some people weren't familiar with the episode because maybe they'd not watched it, and then obviously went to see the Force Awakens and go, "Oh, it happened." But so that was something to see. And obviously, we saw it in the film as well, which was whether they plan to do it that way, I don't know, but it sure seems like it, really.
Yeah, and we see the client again. The client. I would like to see the baby.
Yeah, I didn't see him or his troopers getting killed off, so that was an unexpected scene, which I do love in the movies and TV shows, which is pretty cool. Just blazing and gunfire, just raining havoc onto the cantina that they were in.
Right. Fun. Yeah, it was one of the better episodes of the season. Definitely in the top 3.
Mm. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anything else to say?
Me, at least. Yeah.
Anything else to add before I say my part?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. A very cool episode. It was very cool. I did like the introduction of the new character that was introduced in Moff Gideon. Obviously, if you haven't been aware of that actor's role, he has appeared in other stuff, but obviously more iconically, he played Gus in Breaking Bad as well. So it's good to see a familiar. Yeah, it was good to see a familiar character from another successful TV show be introduced into that. Obviously, Moff Gideon. I did a bit of research on him. He's like a higher profile Imperial officer, if I remember, similar to what Tarkin does. But obviously, does a few nasty things like shooting civilians and stuff. So he's probably not a nice character in the sense of things that we hear him say, and obviously what Kara says about the massacre of many of her friends on a particular battle and everything. His TIE fighter was very cool. The way the wings folded in when they landed, that was pretty cool. Death Troopers, obviously we know that Death Troopers guard high profile Imperial ranks such as Vader, Director Krennic, Admiral Thrawn, obviously Gideon in this case. And it was cool to see them again, which is always cool to get Death Troopers were very cool in Rogue One. It was good to see them obviously on the big screen again. We obviously saw them in the Star Wars Rebels Season 3 and Rogue One and all that lot. And if you played on Battlefront 2, you've seen them there, so that was good. And overall, it was a cool episode. and it just shows you that despite things going right for our characters that we like in this TV show, things can go terribly wrong in a matter of moments. Obviously, as we know, the client gets killed and the rest of these remnant stormtroopers, and obviously they are trapped. But the sad thing about it is, obviously, we do lose a character in Quill, a very cool character, and
Rest in peace.
the child is taken, and eventually we see the season finale awaits, and we see what happens to the fate of our characters. But overall, a very cool episode, a cool introduction to Moff Gideon and his vastly outnumbered stormtroopers that he uses to try and block our characters in. And it was good to see IG-11 as well, reprogrammed, obviously a nurse droid, which is quite funny to think that these are known for assassinating high individual targets. And obviously Taki Wati, who obviously does the voice and obviously directs the last episode, Redemption, he does a good job. And yeah, just see him learning his how to walk and pick things up again and all that lot. So it's quite funny. It's quite funny. But overall, fantastic episode and a good solid episode leading us to the season finale. That is Chapter 8, Redemption.
Right.
Before we talk about the season finale, I just want to just briefly read the notes that I've written, and then we'll answer a few comments to see if there's any on there, and then we'll get on to the season finale. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, Grief Karga sends a message to Mando to return to Navarro to take care of more Imperial targets. His name can be cleared, and obviously he can keep the child. Cara Jr. is obviously fighting a individual character on there, and obviously Mando travels to see his old companion Quill. RG-11 appears, but Quill mentions he is reprogrammed. We see RG-11 learning new skills and helping others. Baby Yoda strangles Cara, thinking she is harming her. They get attacked by flying creatures, which is Minox and Grief Karga gets poisoned, and Baby Yoda heals him. Obviously, we see that. We've seen this episode before the Vrasa Skywalker foresee him. Grief mentions that the plan was to take the child and kill Mando. He devised a new plan was to get to the base and take out the Imperial client. The client takes a message from Moff Gideon. Obviously, the bar gets shot up. The bar gets shot up by Death Troopers and other Imperial targets. Firefighter approaches, and Quill is being followed by two Scout Troopers. The Scout Troopers eventually take out Quill and eventually pick up the target that is the child.
Yeah.
So that's just little bits that we may have missed and extra bits as
well. I just remembered going back a bit to episode 4. Episode 4 was the first time we saw a live action Lothcat back at the bar there.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was interesting and pretty well executed. We get the scale of how small and how small the child is and how big a Lothcat is in real life.
Yeah, just see him walking along up, doing his own thing.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Excuse me.
Go for it. So the last episode we're going to talk about next is Chapter 8, Episode 8, Redemption. That is the season finale of the Mandalorian. And this episode certainly doesn't disappoint. Obviously, the Episode 6, The Prisoner, and Episode 8, Redemption are two of my favourite episodes from the Mandalorian TV show so far. Obviously, as we're aware, Season 2 is coming out in October 2020, and we'll wait and see what other characters and other things happen there. If you've got any more comments regarding the Mandalorian or anything to do with Star Wars, then please don't hesitate to ask me and Alan directly, obviously on the live stream. Obviously, this live stream will be available to watch after once we've stopped airing. I'm just going to read a couple of comments. Airwolf276 mentions something about joining on the Discord. This is wants to join, and that's pretty much it for the comments, really. So, everything all right? Before
Everything
we move
all right.
on to the season finale. So
Right.
we'll move on to the season finale. That is Chapter 8, Redemption. IG-11 rescues the child from the scout troopers. Gideon warns Karga, June, and the Mandalorian that they will face certain death unless they agree to assist him. IG-11 arrives and breaks the standoff, but Gideon injures the Mandalorian. The child uses the Force to deflect an attacking stormtrooper's flamethrower back on him. The Mandalorian sends the others through a sewer grate with the child to find help for the Mandalorian enclave, while IG-11 removes his helmet to tend to a head injury. Joining the others, the Mandalorian finds the covert group of Mandalorians dead or escaped, except the armorer. She tasks him to care for the foundling child like his own, discover its origins, and return it to its kind. The armorer fashions the Mandalorian with his own signet and gives him a jetpack. The group is ferried down an underground lava river. When they are ambushed by stormtroopers, IG-11 self-destructs to eliminate the enemy. Gideon attacks in a TIE fighter, and the Mandalorian uses his jetpack to bring down the craft down. But the Moff survives and cuts him out of the ship with the help of the Darksaber, which is obviously a familiar weapon from the Clone Wars TV show and Star Wars Rebels. The Mandalorian leaves the child, while Karga and June stay behind. So that was the description for the season finale of the Mandalorian. Your thoughts on the season finale of the Mandalorian, and what did you think of that?
Great episode, great finale to the season. I really love the Flame Trooper, the Imperial Flame Trooper.
Very nice.
To me, it's really the first time that that an Imperial stormtrooper gives a menacing vibe to the audience watching. Then seeing the dynamic, the dynamic between IG-11 and, first of all, IG-11 in action, just badass.
Badass. The way he just circles around with his, I think it's his E11 rifle and the other rifle that's similar to IG-88. Just
seeing him ride on the speeder bike with the child on him, the child enjoying the ride.
Just like that, I am your last droid. I will protect you. That
yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Enjoying it.
Then again, it was like speaking of that scene, it was a bit. I mean, it's, now that I think about it, it's a bit confusing. That he was navigating the speeder, but both his hands were busy. And like, aren't the main pedals like to turn on the speeder are on the on the hand thingies, the handle of the speeder.
Yeah, it's to accelerate and obviously brake and everything. But I think because IG-11 is just, obviously you see him put his finger in the bark speeder. Technical class of the bark speeder.
But then again, both his hands were occupied holding blasters, shooting around.
He probably just tapped into its like communications, or just basically hotwired it to say that half of his head has got the speeder, the other bit I'm just going to blast the shit out of these troopers and just cause chaos in my path, really.
But it was still nonetheless, it was badass. And then seeing him interact with the Din Djarin, the Mandalorian again.
Din Djarin, they also reveals his name. Well, Gideon reveals his name, and obviously talks about the other characters as well.
Yeah, they revealed the name, they revealed the face. It was funny. It was funny that that we finally got a face reveal for the Mandalorian, how we got it. IG-11 was really the start and the title of the episode.
Despite being the character in the first episode where he
He
wanted to
is,
harm and kill the child, whereas
yeah,
it was
he is,
reprogrammed by Quill and I am an Earth droid.
yeah, he is the character that gets redeemed in this episode, uh, by the in the eyes of our main character, the Mandalorian, who by the end of the episode gets to really um, have, I guess, a hard time letting go of the droid that saved his life.
Mm. Despite him having a hatred for droids, because
Yeah,
obviously season
yeah,
finale, we see flashbacks to his home where it's been destroyed by super
yeah,
droids.
yeah, and we see that we finally see the full flashback of his origin story of what happened during that time in the Clone Wars and how he was saved by Clan Vizsla.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, that too is interesting because I mean, at least I have a bit of trouble of placing that event in the timeline, because the Mandalorian was probably around 8 years old during that time, um, and so there were battle droids.
You could have been a lot younger. You could have been
Yeah,
about 6 years
yeah.
old then.
His town or village was attacked by super battle droids,
Mm.
and those super battle droids were being destroyed by Mandalorians of Clan Vizsla, or of Death Watch.
Mm.
I guess no, yeah, I guess Death Watch, the symbol that was on the shoulder.
Yeah,
Of,
I always say that they're Death Watch.
yeah,
I
Death
don't
Watch.
refer to them as Clan Vizsla or Clan Ren. I
Yeah,
just refer to them as the Death Watch from
yeah, the Death Watch.
Clone Wars show.
Yeah. So it must have taken place before, uh, before the events with no, maybe even during the events of the Darth Maul takeover of Mandalore. Like maybe those who didn't keep faith with Maul, um, they they went off planet and started like fighting the separatists in other planets,
Mm.
and as they struggle to survive. Um, but but we've seen that so far during the Clone Wars. We've seen that the Death Watch were first about to ally with the separatists to return back to their traditions, to their warrior tradition. But then they were betrayed by Dooku, and we see them become really like scumbags who like take over villages and take women as slaves and the people as slaves and whatnot, take over territory and kill those who oppose them, and uh, and then we see them interact with the death of mere brothers, Darth Maul and Savage Opress. Then Vizsla gets killed, and Death Watch has a new leader, and they change their appearance entirely. They're completely divided. So
Mm.
yeah, so yeah, I guess the question is, when in the timeline of the Clone Wars did that flashback take place in? That's really the question. But yeah, the ending, the end of the episode, just yeah, the episode as a whole, great episode. I was really intrigued by, first of all, again, now we get to see the blacksmith, the Mandalorian blacksmith in action, just badass. And then the end of the episode, we get to see another entity from the animated series brought to live action, the dark saber. So yeah, that was really cool, yeah, also the beginning of the episode with the two scout troopers, really goofy. It was
Hitting
fun.
Baby Yoda. But
Yeah, we get to see stormtroopers in a way that we've never seen them before. Like one of them is legit worried about the child, and they talk in this manner that we've never thought or imagined stormtroopers like in that universe, in that continuity, really act before.
you kind of
It
know
was,
it from, like, say, our heroes or characters we enjoy. Oh, this is a
yeah,
bad
and
thing.
you can definitely tell that this episode was directed by Taika Waititi, by this, yeah, by the just I guess the extra comic scenes in there. What are your thoughts on the episode, Jack?
As I said beforehand, episode 6 and episode 8 are my favourite episodes from the Mandalorian TV show so far. I thought it was executed well. The humour was good. The action was sublime. Flashback scenes was good to obviously get an indication on what Mando has been through in the past. And it's just cool overall to see stormtroopers also getting kicks around and pushed around as usual. And that flame trooper was really cool. Obviously, they've recently released a Black Series helmet of it, which is pretty cool. Really nice. And yeah, it just shows you that Moff Gideon will go to arm's length to get his prize that he wants. And despite it being a tricky situation, Mando eventually gets out of it, and obviously we learn his name, Din Djarin, and why he hates the droids and everything. And has a conscience for IG, who obviously saved him. He said that no one has removed my helmet, says I'm a droid, and stuff like that. And obviously removes it. So Mando's face covered with blood and everything. Obviously, the actor who betrays him, that is Pedro Pascal. He's obviously been in other TV shows such as Game of Thrones. He was in Narcos and other things he's been in. The second Kingsman film and other projects that he's been in. But it was good. The scene where IG sacrifices himself was pretty cool with his self detonator. Very peculiar to see a little astromech droid, thinking it's a normal one. It just comes up with these metal arms and this metal sort of rower. So it kind of reminded me the way he was rowing with no head. It kind of reminded me of one of those guys in Venice, Italy, just singing a song, just rowing through lava, trying to mind his own thing. It did make me laugh. Even when his head was blown off by a car engine, he was just still going along, like I say, a romantic love interest in Venice, Italy. But it was a cool episode, and you see Mando get given a jetpack, which is always cool to see a jetpack flying and everything. And you see Moff Gideon's TIE fighter get shot down, and obviously discovers that he has the dark saber. So we'll see the flashback scenes in season 2 on how he gets it. But it's very interesting to see how he's retrieved this item, and yeah, it's good to see a familiar weapon from the Clone Wars era and in Star Wars Rebels as well. But, nothing else to really say apart from just positive feedback that season finale was great, really cool, and it just finishes off on a high. And we look forward to see what season 2 and if there are any other seasons, what it holds really. So hopefully they will be good, and we look forward to what the other seasons have to offer really. So I'll just quickly read the notes again in case I've missed anything out. As Anna mentioned earlier on, we see the scout troopers start shooting a bit of metal, so we know that they can't aim and everything, which is the comedy humour part of it. So basically, they just can't aim for anything really. Baby Yoda obviously bites one of them and gets hit over the head. We see IG-11 turns up and saves the child. Mando wants to locate in the sewers so they can escape. Moff Gideon knows information about all three of them. Mando opens up about his past, and you'll see the Mandalorians that are the Creed who eventually help him. Battlejoys ransack his village and kill his parents. He was rescued by the Death Watch. Mando takes out the talks about the Mandos who raised him and everything. IG-11 causes chaos, and obviously the gang starts firing. Mando picks up the big E cannon and lights them up with Cara. Mando gets hit, and IG-11 cuts open the metal gate inside the bar. The incinerator trooper opens up with fire. Baby Yoda uses the force to stop the fire from spreading and kills the trooper. IG-11 removes Mando's helmet, and we see Din Djarin's face. And Mando also discovers that the different types of armors in the sewers belong to different Creed members. She gives him a new armor, and obviously gives him a shoulder pad and gives him a jetpack. Where are we?
She gives him his signet.
Signet, that's it. Where are we?
The Mudhorn.
The armor given to Mando was obviously that signet, as Alan just mentioned. He takes out the troopers in style. We see an astromech droid, but with a larger body and arms, and obviously eye and legs. We see RG-11. He obviously wishes to self-destruct and wants to save the gang. RG-11 self-destructs and blows up the stormtroopers. Moff Gideon approaches in his TIE fighter, and Mando uses his jetpack to go after him. He engages him on his TIE fighter and plants a thermal detonator on the wing and crashes down. Mando eventually buries Quill and leaves the planet with Baby Yoda. Cara and Griff head on their way. We also see Moff Gideon eventually manage to escape with the help of the Darksaber, an old weapon that we've seen from the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. And we'll wait and see if there's any news or flashback scenes to see how he acquired that weapon from the distant age of the Jedi. And season 1 ends, really. So fantastic season finale, a fantastic season for the first ever live action Star Wars TV show on Disney. And nothing to say but positive vibes and a very good introduction to a cool character that is the Mandalorian. So that is season 1 of the Mandalorian TV show. Me and Alan have spoken in depth about it, and if you've got any more questions about it,
any more comments
or questions or comments about it, then please post in the comment section. And before we move on to other things, I think there is another comment in the chat, I believe. Where are we? We just scroll down. Airwolf mentions, who do you think Morrison is going to play in season 2, Rex or Boba Fett? I just want to clarify, is it been confirmed that Morrison is coming back? Because I've seen a few stories going around about Morrison portraying characters in the Mandalorian. Alan, do you know if it's been confirmed?
I can't remember. I remember that I had a chat with some people about it, but I don't remember whether or not it was confirmed. But yeah, it could be either one. It could be portraying either Boba Fett rising back from his presumed death in Return of the Jedi, or it could also be Rex, who we know is still probably alive by the time of these events. We know that he has survived the Battle of Endor. So who knows? We could see a cameo from him, or maybe a bigger role than just a cameo from him. But either way, either way, I look forward, if it is confirmed that he will be appearing in season 2. I look forward to see what he appears as, and I would actually rather have him appear as Boba Fett,
Mm.
and give that character more depth than Rex.
I've seen a few
yeah,
advertisements of videos. It's saying that Boba Fett and Captain Rex confirmed for the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian Tamara Morrison to play Boba Fett in this. It seems like it's been confirmed with these videos that have been made. But obviously, when season 2 cars come out, we'll see what it holds up to. It's kind of like when they said that Ahsoka Tano would be appearing in that. I believe it's true because obviously seen some of the recent news and stuff happen. But if it is confirmed, I mean, I won't. I mean, I will believe it in a way. But if the StarWars.com do confirm it with images of the actors and actresses playing these roles, then we'll wait and see what happens there. But if that is true, that'd be excellent. And but enough being said there, we've completed the season 1 of the Mandalorian TV show. As I said, let us know your thoughts and comments about this TV show. And is there anything else you'd like to say, Ellen, before I briefly move on to the merchandise that they've released so far for the Mandalorian?
May I offer you a libation to celebrate the closing of our shared narrative?
You may. You may.
Another brilliant quote that I saw fit from the client.
Well, I'll just get a few Mandalorian action figures that I've
Would you like to talk about merchandise?
for my Star Wars collection. Yes. Far away if you have any interesting thoughts.
Right.
Do you have anything to say, Aaron, about merchandise? Do you hope to acquire merch?
I do hope to acquire merch. So far, I haven't acquired any, but I would love to acquire some merch from the Mandalorian as soon as possible. Right now, I've some more important things in my list of priorities when money wise, but someday I would definitely like to acquire some Mandalorian merchandise. But yeah, I have the actually the child from the Black Series wave. I have that on pre-order, so I'm expecting that. I think it's already out. It's already released, but the website from which I ordered it, it's having a bit of delays. So I'm gonna have to be either patient or maybe gonna have to cancel and order somewhere else. But I think I'm just gonna stick to my pre-order and be patient about it. We'll see. But I see that, Jack, you have a couple of action figures from the Mandalorian. You have the Mandalorian himself in his first appearance and Cara Dune, both of them looking badass in their 3 3/4 inch scale.
And if you want to see these two characters in more depth, you can check out the reviews of these characters on the Mandalorian playlist that I've made. So if you want to check these out, then be sure to check them out.
Do that
if you can. Yeah. But the Cara Dune figure is excellent with the tattoo markings and all the accessories that come with it. It's really, really cool. And Mando is just no exceptional. I think Mando's got to be one of the most anticipated figures that I have been looking forward to collect from the vintage collection. He's been the most anticipated I've wanted to collect. And yeah, Hasbro have literally knocked this one out of the park. It's fantastically detailed and stocked is really cool. And obviously the rifle can be removed, obviously, which was an old rifle used from the old version of Boba Fett. And obviously it's nice that Star Wars have introduced that in the galaxy far,
Yeah.
far away.
By the way, I saw you had it hanging on his back on the other way around.
I just put it there for the time being. I did.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, it's just an exceptional figure. And like I said earlier on, he just reminds me so much of either Clint Eastwood or John Wayne, especially because of this satchel bit here. Just like when you watch old films of Clint Eastwood, it's just exceptionally good on how he is. And it just reminds me so much of him. Obviously, Clint Eastwood is such a great actor and director as well. But Mando just reminds me that he's just jumped off the screen, and we've got Clint in a science fiction film, but exceptional figures, the pair of them. And as I just said, if you want to see more of these, you can with in-depth reviews on them. And if you've got any questions about it in tonight's live stream or any questions in general about the Mandalorian, then please don't hesitate to ask me or Alan about it. But fantastic figures. But hopefully down the line, we've said it in our past couple of live streams, the Vintage Collection can put its finger out and make more characters. We've got a few characters introduced in the Black Series wave, so hopefully Hasbro can get their act together and release more figures in the Vintage Collection like the old days, really. But hopefully this Vintage Collection movement that Star Wars fans across the galaxy are talking about can get into play, really. So that would be a bonus, Hasbro, if you're watching or anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
Pull your finger out. You know how much it means to fans, the figures and collectors. Just bring back the old days when there was loads of figures. Because at the minute it's been pretty poor. The Black Series has been great. Obviously, I don't collect the Black Series because obviously I'm used to the old school figures and the 3 3/4 inch line figures. But if Hasbro can put work into the Black Series a little bit more, then
Into Vintage Collection a bit more, you mean?
go into the Vintage Collection a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll get some answers then. But
right. There is a petition going on online for that.
Yeah, I just mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan, do you want to explain to any Star Wars fans what that involves? Because obviously I can do an explanation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, any of you 3 3/4 inch Star Wars action figure fans and collectors, there's currently a petition online. A petition for Hasbro to make more new 3 3/4 inch Star Wars Vintage Collection figures per year. And it's on the website. It's on the website change.org.
But if you want to use a shorter way, you can go on to, I believe, is it Yak Face's website or his Instagram page where he's got a link to it as well. He's a very resourceful Star Wars collector and fan. So any news, head to that guy's channel. Very, very cool.
Yeah. So the website reads: the purpose of this petition is to provide Hasbro with actionable market data to justify the investment in more new 3 3/4 inch Star Wars Vintage Collection figures per year. By signing this petition, the I guess the one who created this petition affirms the following. One, collecting Hasbro 3 3/4 inch Star Wars Vintage Collection is or will be a hobby of theirs. In order to retain, attract customers, Hasbro must produce more newly tooled figures each year than is currently being produced, and those figures need to be in close alignment with the desires of the collector community, which is, yeah, absolutely right. Like I would really like to see action figures come out according to the content that is being produced and put out at the time of those figures being around the time of those figures being released. I would have really liked to get new action figures for the new season of the Clone Wars. I would have really liked to get more I guess more Mandalorian action figures. I know that you, Jack, you would have liked to see more characters, more action figures from the Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. And who knows other characters? They could go back and say, right, well, we only did a little bit for Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah,
There's a couple of characters there, or
yeah,
other Star Wars that, because you know that Star Wars fans out there are going to buy stuff. You know that me and you are going to buy
mm-hmm.
because you
Mm-hmm.
know I've got a collection, obviously your collection behind you.
Yeah,
You have a
yeah,
passion for 3 3/4 inch. The 3
we
3/4
do.
inch are the baseline of many Star Wars collectors. I mean, apart from the
Absolutely.
Black Series coming along, that was the prestigious. That was like it was basically it was the Jedi Temple. It was the sacred text of Star Wars.
Yeah,
Many
kind of.
everything. And
Yeah,
now since they've not done as much, because obviously as we said before, we had to hype. Oh yeah, vintage collection coming back. We're going to get certain characters. I mean, the figures that have been released are fine. I mean, I know we've got a few repacks in there and here and there, but that's exceptional. But just try and go back to the old school days, you know, like the peak of vintage collection, like 2007 onwards, I think about 2011, 12.
mm-hmm.
Really
Yeah,
good. The casing of figures and the stuff, because literally back then, every character you mainly saw on the big screen, you would get a decent figure of it.
right.
But,
So,
whether
so
they're
to those
listening,
of you,
I might say.
yeah, so to those of you who would like to see that change happen, uh, I would recommend, Jack, that you leave a link to that petition in the description of this live stream. There are already 4,253 signatures, and the goal is to get to 5,000 signatures. So we're really getting close there, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully the voice of the fans are the voice of the fans will be heard, and we will get what we desire in the future.
Well, I'll try and find that description. As soon as I find that description, I will be. I don't know if you have to create an account, but we'll come to that briefly when it comes to it. But I
I
will be.
I don't remember creating an account. I think maybe maybe I just connected with either Twitter, Facebook, or Gmail.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to be signing up once I
Yeah.
find the link and everything. So they've got my vote there when I eventually go to register it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll share the link with you after the stream.
Thank you,
Yeah.
mate. Thank you. Right, and I'll be sure to once this live stream is finished, I'll be sure to put a link in there so us Star Wars fans can bring back the old days. That is the vintage collection. But,
Right.
thank you for that, Adam, for explaining that.
Anytime.
Anytime. Do you have any other things to mention, channel-wise, collecting-wise, Mandalorian stuff,
Um,
or any questions thrown in the comments?
I guess what do you look forward to hopefully see in what do you hope to see in season 2, Jack?
Well, basically, I hope to see a lot more of what we've seen in the first season to discover Mando's character expanding even more. I would like to see some more quirky characters appear and other things happening. Obviously, we've seen a few rumours of suspected older characters from the Star Wars universe and new characters being introduced. But what might seem like, say, sort of a Mexican standoff between Mando and his crew or another load of people, really, just like a standoff or just like a battle that brings back old eras and old times from the Clone Wars and the Galactic Civil War, really. But that'd be something to enjoy. But sort of a Mexican standoff would be one thing I'd look forward to. Just in a crowded room, just go. It's like this massive battle around the streets of wherever they're fighting, and just lasers going everywhere. That'd be pretty cool. But I've got high hopes for season 2, and who knows? Maybe we'll see a few new familiar faces from the Star Wars era and characters that we've seen before, but in a whole unique way after the events of Return of the Jedi. What about you, Alan? Do you have anything proposed or
I pretty
you
much
think
look.
will do?
I pretty much look forward to the same stuff that you do. We know that Ahsoka and Bo-Katan are going to make their live action debut and an appearance in this next season, and potentially a character from played by Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty intrigued by that, and I hope that they serve their roles well, and that they don't take over too much screen time from our main characters. I hope to see more action. I hope to see more of the child and explore more into his origins, and see more, go a bit deeper to the Mandalorian's origin story as well, and maybe even to see some flashbacks from this famous Mandalorian purge that we heard of in season one, and see how and see more of the Darksaber, and maybe how it ended up in Grief Karga's hands.
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon's, yeah, Moff Gideon. Sorry about that. Yeah, yeah. That's my hopes and wishes for season 2.
Well, I hope they do it well. I mean, I've got faith in them. They've done a good job so far, so there's no reason why they won't do it again. But at this moment in time, the Mandalorian has been a success. Obviously, I rewatched it last week and obviously done all my notes for the stream and everything. So I am fresh again by watching it a second time round, and fantastic. And if you want to see more of the Mandalorian as well, be sure to check out the Disney Plus gallery where we talk to the cast and crew and directors about the Mandalorian TV show and see what they have to offer in this amazing universe that is Star Wars. And yeah, that's just pretty much it for the Mandalorian season 1 live stream. If you've got any more comments to put in the section, be sure to do so. There's nothing at the minute, but I'm sure me and Alan will stay on there for a few more minutes, and if it comes through, we'll call it a day and go from there. Really. Anything else to say, Alan? If there's any more comments, they do come through.
I don't see any new comments now, but
No.
To celebrate the closing of our shared narrative, as they say, I guess my last words would be, "This is the way, and I have spoken."
I have spoken as well.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way of the Mandalorians. This is the way.
This is the way.
We have spoken.
We have spoken.
We have spoken.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be no more comments, but if you've got any more comments for either the pair of us, then please don't hesitate to leave them on either any of our channels or videos and everything. And if you do leave them, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But I'd like to thank everyone for watching this Mandalorian live stream. I hope you've taken into effect on our opinions and stuff. And obviously, these live streams are great because obviously I can speak with guests and we can go in depth with many eras and many aspects of Star Wars. And as usual, I'd like to thank Alan for tagging along as usual on the stream.
Thank you for having me.
It's a shame that Lewis couldn't join us, but hopefully he will be back for the next one due to having a busy week and everything, which is understandable. People are busy in these periods of time. And yet again, thank you very much for everyone watching, and I hope you enjoy the stream and look forward to future live streams. And before we sign off, Alan, where can we find you on social media?
Right. So my channel name is right here. If you search it on YouTube, you'll find my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. If you look up this exact username, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Again, Jack, thank you for having me. And where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube as Jedi Master 98. You can find me on Facebook as Jedi Master 98. And you can also find me on Instagram as well. All the channel links are in my About section on my YouTube page. Same with Alan. You can find all this information on there. And if you enjoy Star Wars figure reviews, good content and live streams, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also be sure to subscribe to Alan's channel as well. And yeah, again, thank you very much for watching. It's been a fantastic first season so far of The Mandalorian, and hats off to the Star Wars people, that is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who have done an excellent job so far, and keep it going until the next seasons are upon us. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy the stream, and we will see you on the next live stream, whenever that one will be. So I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next stream. As always, take care, look after yourself, may the force be with you. As we both said, we have spoken. Thanks, guys.
This is the way.
This is the way. I have spoken.
I've
Thanks,
spoken.
guys.
Bye.